list have fallen by the wayside. Which leads us, and I'm going to skip down actually to a story that's semi-related to this, because Shuhei Yoshida mentioned some news about something very beloved here by me at least, the PlayStation Vita. We talked about this in the after party of 3 Topic Thursday, but it says this is from Polygon, titled "PS Vita successor unlikely given mobile gaming climate," says Sony Studios boss. Shuhei Yoshida, the worldwide studios chief for Sony Computer Entertainment, told a panel this weekend that, quote, "the climate is not healthy," end quote, for a successor to the PlayStation handheld thanks to the saturation of mobile gaming-ready devices and the nature of the games they play. Quote, "People have mobile phones, and it's so easy to play games on smartphones. Touch-based games are fun, but having sticks and buttons makes things totally different," end quote. So Shuhei, I think we all kind of knew that it was unlikely for us to see a Vita successor. But Shuhei puts the blame on mobile gaming. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, he definitely touches on it here. Touch-based, like, cell phone games, what you typically think of in terms of mobile gaming, they're very different than sticks and buttons. And I think there's value to both of them. I don't agree with the fact that he puts the blame on mobile gaming detracting from Vita sales, because Vita sales suffer because there's not really much in terms of content. I mean, you can get your PS1 classics, things like that, but when I go to GameStop or to Walmart and I'm looking at the Vita shelves, there's nothing on the shelf to really get me interested. I mean, they've had Golden Abyss, but the Uncharted spin-off game, but what was that, like 6 years ago that came out? 5 years ago.
What's that?
Golden Abyss.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's been some time, and you have a couple of third-party titles like Silent Hill and a couple of Arkham franchise releases, but again, not much to really drive the Vita sales.
It's and am I misunderstanding, or is he kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth? I blame mobile sales. Mobile is totally different.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it to me.
To some extent, I understand what he's saying. Like, if people are going to play on the go, like, they already own a device that can do that. But what he's not giving Vita enough credit for is the fact that it can run games that the phone cannot run. It can give you experiences that the phone cannot give you. And I just think, like, looking at the Nintendo DS's success, that you can't blame the mobile market, because the DS is thriving in all markets. Like in Japan, DSs are everywhere. Here in America, the DS is selling very, very well, even when it iterates and the iteration doesn't make any sense. Like, those iterations sell well. And it's not about the mobile gaming platform. What it is about is you providing games that are worth playing on these platforms. Like, the DS has a strong gaming library. You can play Zelda on it. You can play Mario Kart. You can play Smash Brothers. You can play Monster Hunter. You can play all these really, really popular games, and you can play them on the go. And they may not be console quality experiences on them, but they're comparable enough that it scratches an itch that a lot of us have, which is that I want to go and I want to play these games when I'm on a road trip, when I'm staying in a hotel, when I'm laying up in bed and not down near my TV. Like, and if the Vita could have had that and had that consistently, where I don't feel like it's all it is JRPGs and platformer games on it at this point. Like, I love it because I have a few games on it I play all the time, but for the most part, the DS sells because every couple months something worth playing on it is coming out.
Yeah, I can't tell how many times you've walked into GameStop and I've watched you walk over to that wall and be like, "Yep, nothing worth buying today."
Yeah. So I don't necessarily think it's the gaming the mobile gaming industry that's affecting this. But my question to you guys is, and I didn't put this in the show notes, but I just wanted to kind of get your natural reactions, that because neither of you guys own something that you can game mobily on. Like, you have
a Game Boy Color,
right? So
like
you're pouring money into that market left and right. Yeah. What's up, Lemony Sam? We can see the chat, and Star Wars Battlefront comes out on November 17th. We're actually going to No, we're not going to talk about that later. But anyway,
Never mind.
So my question to you guys is, what would draw you to a mobile gaming platform?
I mean, I'm already drawn to the Vita. I get the itch from time to time. It's just a matter of that sucker's so expensive. And again, like for what I would use it for, mostly PS1, PS2. There's some PS2 classics available on there, right? On the Vita?
What's that?
PS.
No, just PS1.
Just PS1. Okay. Yeah. Well, still, I would use it for that. I would love to play like again, not Snake Eater, Peace Walker on there. Kind of go back, play it in that mobile, kind of its original platform. And again, I would love to try out things like Golden Abyss and kind of use it what you use it for, and kind of playing some of these 2D platformer, like PS4 games of the month or whatever. Just something fun to have to hang around with, but for $200 and something that's not going to be really seeing much support in the future.
Yeah, and it's again, and I think we talk about it probably more on Thursdays than we do here, but like all of the crap that they've released into the wild and that just got no support. You had the touch, not the touch. You had the Move. You had the Vita. You have the PlayStation Eye, the PlayStation Camera. Mm-hmm. You have like PlayStation Now is one of those things that like just didn't get a ton of support.
I haven't heard anything about that in quite some time.
Somebody on Reddit the other day actually asked, like, is anybody using PlayStation Now? And I had that subscription for like 3 months, and I used it maybe twice. And but yeah, they just release these things out into the wild, and they don't support them. So for me to really get on board and be like Vita 2 champion, it's like, you got to show me there's something worth playing on it that I can talk to people about.
Yeah,
because when I'm playing Super Meat Boy on the Vita right now, no one cares. But if I can go to them, and I'm a big sports game fan, and I'm like, I would love a basketball game on the go. Like for me, that would be a huge selling point to me. But like diversify what it is. But all I can play are platformers and JRPGs. That's all it really feels like. And I'm someone who wants to love the Vita so much. I'm still playing FIFA 13 and Madden 13 on the thing because I like. It gives me part of the experience that I want, but they just don't have that support. So how about for you, Larry? What would draw you to the mobile gaming platform?
I'm just not that interested in the first place is the main problem with me. There are very little situations where I would use it. I just wouldn't use the thing very often.
That's my thing too.
But what would draw me in is the hypothetical that you had several weeks back with the idea that maybe Nintendo's next console would be partially your home console, but also partially you can take it on the go. That would really appeal to me.
I mean, they do have that to some degree, like with the Vita. It's just not something that works particularly well, depending on your internet connection. Mm-hmm. What is it, remote play?
Yeah.
I mean, that was something, again, I think that was one of the big selling points for you when you first got yours. It's not something I understand that you use very much for it, though.
Yeah, well, it's so difficult. They have the rear touchpad on that thing, and there's some games where they use it and it's useful and it's okay, but then there's other games where it's just like, I would rather have the physical button than have to focus on hitting the right areas. So if they could just do a redesign and it would make it cheaper, remove the back touchpad and just put two more physical shoulder buttons that would make remote play make more sense. And then when you begin to market it like it's this thing that kind of is an extension of your PlayStation 4, people will attach themselves to it better because 4 shoulder buttons are important in most of the games that you play on your PlayStation 4. Like playing Metal Gear remote play is going to be incredibly difficult probably. Playing a sports game is incredibly difficult because R2, it's normally your sprint button, and so you're having to find that area on the touchpad to get to, and it just doesn't work. And like there are so many ways that I think if the NX goes the route that I said it was going to go, it's going to do it in a much it's going to do it differently than how the Vita does it. I think it's going to be something that can physically plug in and become an extension of your console rather than just it being an extension of your console for the purposes of marketing, which is all the remote play is, that every PlayStation 4 game is a PlayStation Vita game, and it just doesn't work like that, and it's not reliable enough to work like that. The network, the infrastructure in the PlayStation 4 doesn't reach that far in a home to be able to allow you to play rooms over or like on another story of your house or anything like that. So Like there are things that could have been done better that was design choices, and I feel like if they would have went back a couple years after release and said, all right, we're gonna, because a lot of these games are coming from the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 3 to the Vita, and they're not having to utilize the back touchpad. So if you just give them those physical shoulder buttons again, then boom, it makes development for it easier there. I love mobile game. I love handheld gaming, and even though you get some weird looks. It's funny, like you can be in a public setting and everybody can pull out their phone and nobody bats an eye, but you pull out a PlayStation Vita and all of a sudden it's like, oh, look at this guy, antisocial over here playing his Vita.
There's definitely a stigma, and it's something cool about the phone. You can kind of hide the fact that you're gaming a little bit, but
That's true.
it depends on the game, maybe.
I read something recently that was talking about the whole, we're all antisocial, we pull out our phones, but included in the article was a picture from several decades back of everyone on this train reading a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's nothing new.
Yeah. It all nothing new under the sun, right?